Hello, this is Josh Hunter, presently in the city of Santa Monica, California. And so as you know, I like to do what I can beforehand to make adequate preparations for any possible any possible thing that might be detrimental to my general feeling of well-being. So I've had this idea. I discovered this idea probably three years ago, or I mean maybe earlier, but anyway. I have a general fear, or let's not say that. I'm kind of concerned about what would happen if people who believed in certain religions were suddenly no longer able to believe in those religions, and how they would react. Because a lot of religions are dependent upon faith, upon things you can't see. But if somehow you were able to see clearly the reasons why you could not and believe in this religion, or should not believe in that religion, I think could. I would like to know how people would react to that type of thing, and I'm not quite certain if there are already preparations going on right now for that, but I want to make sure that I at least am prepared, and people who are generally associated with me are prepared. I don't know if there's anyone associated with me at this point. I'm in the city of Santa Monica, so it's like I don't know. I guess people. I want to make sure that people are not suddenly surprised and suddenly because in that moment when you suddenly cannot believe in something you believed in your whole life and you've built so much upon it, that's not like a pleasant thing. It's not necessarily a state that you want to be in, but if you are going to be in that state, you want to be well prepared. So throughout the course of some of these videos that I've made, I've introduced certain concepts that I believe could act as a type of buffer or a cushion for people who could no longer believe in their religion but needed to believe in something that wasn't completely terrible anyway. But those are ideas that I came up with. I didn't realize that there might already be structures built. That I'm not the first fucking guy to come up with this idea. So specifically, I think, and this would go for any religion, or at least in the United States of America, this would go for any religion. But I'm saying, if we just shift to Santa Claus, I think it's a very simple religion, like something you could believe in, as far as people to believe in, or beings or whatever. If you could no longer believe in Jesus, or if you could no longer believe in Krishna, or if you could no longer believe in Muhammad or Yahweh or any of the major gods, but for some reason you were no longer able to. I think if you believe in Santa Claus, it forms a basis, a very stable structure, foundational structure for you to believe in, because it's a very simple rules. Be good and you get good gifts. Be bad and you get bad gifts. And so all year you are encouraged to do good so that you get good gifts at the end of the year. And if you get bad gifts at the end of the year, that's how you know that you were bad. It's a very simple thing, but it keeps people in moral check. It keeps them desiring to be good, at least for the sake of getting a good gift. Because if you can no longer believe in God, but you still have the activity of Christmas or Xmas, some people might decide to call it. But you shit, I'm gonna fuck up. Okay. Okay. So I wanted to just make a note here that I think preparation should go on, because I noticed today that I've been trying to identify this look that I see on people's faces when I speak to them generally, and I couldn't figure out what it was. So I have a kind of guess as to what it might be. You know, I've been wrong about a lot of things, and I have this look that I feel that I get on my face when I find out that I'm wrong about something. I feel like I've been through this so many times that like I know what that looks like. And this is like the look that I've been seeing on people's faces. Like they don't know that there's going to be something that they really believe in that ain't going to be here in 8 months. And I'm really trying to, you know, I want to make sure that everyone who can be prepared is prepared, and they're kept in, you know, I mean, where it is, you know, needful anyway, where people ought to be. Like, I mean, some people, I mean, they're, I don't know, I can't speak for all humanity, but I do know that there are people who simply, like, some things are just too shocking, and you know, if they weren't so sensitized to being shocked, they might be better prepared for more you know, unusual things or whatever. So anyway, so I'm saying that maybe like Santa Claus is like a good being to believe in, like if you needed a religion. Because first of all, he's always far away, which you would need, like if you're used to having a God that's far away. Like, you like the idea of God just being over there. You don't like God like being right in your fucking face, you know. So with Santa Claus, he's always nearby, and you know he's not, you know, he's not like some wild, like, you know, Greek god. He's not like turning himself into like a bull or something and like doing wild things on Earth. You know, he has a wife, okay? You know, there's Santa Claus, there's Mrs. Claus, okay? And he's already involved in the whole, you know, Christmas thing. So he's like a neighbor. He's like if like religions were like houses, like he's like Jesus' neighbor. I mean, he doesn't necessarily got anything to do with Jesus, but I mean, he's right there. So I figure you can just, you know, it's like, all right. Now I normally go to Jesus' house to get this. I normally go to Jesus' house to get this, but now I get this from Santa Claus's house. As you know, opposed to I normally get this from Jesus' house, but somebody built a house right next to Jesus, and we're not quite sure if that's what that is. But I mean, you could try it out. So that's generally what I'm trying to say here. Like if Jesus' house were like a store, or even a neighbor, so like a place that you go to often, and suddenly you couldn't go to Jesus' house anymore, you would say, well, where are we gonna go to get this thing that we normally get from Jesus' house? And so you're familiar with Jesus' neighborhood. You're familiar. I mean, he lives in the same like county as Muhammad, you know, and Krishna. I mean, they're around there somewhere. You know, it's different boroughs, but you know, I mean, they're nearby. So if you didn't want to go too far, I'm pretty sure Santa Claus's house is right next to Jesus' house. Like so when it comes to Christmas time, you change a couple of things. So instead of saying Christmas, you could say anything, but just something to remind you, you know, or maybe not. Anyway. Anyway. So anyway, I just want to make sure that people are prepared. So what I might do is I might design like a kind of amplified version of Christmas. Because I mean, we have Christmas, but you can't, like, people need something they can do regularly to keep them involved. So, I mean, I don't know, it could be like a non-traditional religion. Like most religions, yeah, they need you to pray constantly. But this could be like a religion where you're just aware of it all year. It's like a kind of, you know, you're just aware that, oh, if I'm not good, then at the end of the year, I'm going to get like a shitty gift. And so that would encourage you to be good. And like, it's very simple. Like it's not about, oh, right and wrong. It's like, okay, you do good. If you're good, according to Santa Claus, you'll get a good gift. If you're bad, according to Santa Claus, you'll get a bad gift. And I think that's what people would need at that point. I mean, and I'm talking about people who are heavily invested in these religions. I'm not necessarily talking about like the casual, like, you know, you you just wear a cross because it feels nice. I mean, these guys, I mean, they'll do whatever they want. But I'm talking about the people who are like heavily invested, like you built things, like you I mean, you built a church, okay? I don't know, you do a lot of church activities. You got, I mean, people who have, whenever things get tough, you say, oh, I'll just think about Jesus. And like you rely on him like a rock, or something stronger than a rock, or to you would be stronger than a rock. And so I need to make sure that people who are essential to our social structures do not experience too sudden a shock at the idea or the experience of Jesus not being the rock. And it doesn't necessarily be Jesus or Muhammad or anything that people are dependent upon. A being who they cannot necessarily readily identify, but who they depend upon greatly. If that suddenly, that's not the case. So with Santa Claus, and also with Santa Claus, you have a social interaction as well. Okay, technically you're always donating to it, because when you do the Christmas thing, you're with each other. It's family time or whatever. And I'm sure if it becomes like an actual standard religion, I mean, there could be greater modifications, but I mean, that's not, and you don't need Santa Claus to be real as well. That's the thing. Like, no one's gonna, like, if it turns out that Santa Claus isn't real, then okay, then it's not an issue. Like, nobody's like, they're not gonna, you already prepare, so it's not going to be like a terrible issue. Whereas if it turned out that Jesus wasn't real, I mean, people can't afford that. You can afford, Santa Claus is a religion that people can afford it. Okay, right now people think they can afford to believe in Jesus and Muhammad, but they have not experienced the circumstances in which those beliefs become extremely impractical. They have not yet been through that type of scenario. So I believe that if you kind of just transfer these people to the house of Santa Claus, you're going to get a better, you're going to get a simpler religious structure, something that people already believe in, already feel safe believing in. And there's a lower risk of losing certain things, a lower risk of losing fundamental principles. So this may be already the case. This may just be like an inherent factor, and I'm just explaining something that everybody already knows. But I need this for me, like, just in case. Like, I'm not like I don't want to be like a zealot or whatever. So I want to make sure that I'm doing what I got to do. All right. I'm 33 years old, and I've got the best grades on earth.